Bread pig? Bread pig? Bread pig? A pig with bread stuck to the side of it like wings? You're okay with this? Welcome, one and all, to Bad Voltage, Season 3, Episode... I looked it up. So, in this episode of Bad Voltage... Don't look at me like
Episode 29. What do you mean, don't look at you like that?
They were sneering at me across the internet.
Yes.
I saw what you did there.
Yes, we are.
We had an intro generated by AI last episode, and it was better than this intro, which is a little alarming.
That's very true. Good work on that one, Jeremy, by the way. So, we're going to have a bit of a different show today. We're not going to do any news, shock horror, but we're also not going to talk about the impact of, toilet brushes on mankind, shock horror. We're actually going to play a bit of a game. And this game is stolen from a TV show in the UK called Room 101, okay? Now, the idea of this is that each of us has picked things that we cannot stand in the world, okay? And we are going to lobby the other two to get it into Room 101, which is a place where the thing will be banished. It will forever be removed from our planet, okay? So we're going to go one by one, and then the other two are going to essentially have a conversation and judge whether that should go into Room 101. The goal is to try and get as many of our things banished into Room 101. So each of us has picked 3 things. And why don't we start with Jeremy? Should we pick your... Should we? So tell us, first of all, what your first thing is and why you want it to go in Room 101.
Sure, and it should be pointed out, I had no idea what the show was when we were doing this, so I'm at a slight disadvantage here, but I'll take those odds.
And I don't think it matters. I mean, based on past history, we did Jeopardy, and literally everyone in America came and explained to us afterwards that Jono and I don't know how Jeopardy works, and
right.
the game is not actually like that. So.
All right.
So the first thing that I picked to banish was reality TV.
Oh. Why? I mean, we don't need to ask you why, but explain why.
Yeah, I will go into it. So the first 2 search results, when you search for quote-unquote reality TV is witch's brew of deceit, vengeance, and spite, and a cultural meat grinder making stars of ordinary people who have little or no talent. And I think that sums it up pretty well. But that's the fascinating thing about the siren song of reality TV. Almost everyone I know who watches the really bad shows, they know the shows are terrible. They just can't help themselves. They know the shows aren't even reality, which is 7/9 of the name of the genre. The fabricated fights, the absurd situations, the manufactured shenanigans. But watching these terrible, no-good shows, it doesn't betray an underlying lack of intelligence or any kind of failing on your part. They're just too alluring. 10% of British teenagers say they would abandon their chances of a good education completely if they could become a star on reality television. So they must be banished for the collective good. Except for Man vs. Food and Below Deck. Don't you touch Man vs. Food or Below Deck.
Wow, he wrote like a thing.
Well, I did. I didn't know I was supposed to write a thing. I didn't write a thing.
I didn't write a thing.
I wrote some notes and went off the notes.
This is all pure improv.
Can I just illustrate what you're talking about here? I just opened up Hulu, and some shows that are on right now. Life of Kylie, Kardashians season 19.
That's unbelievable.
Vanderpump Rules, The Real Housewives of Orange County, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, RuPaul's Drag Race, Exposure, Shark Tank, Cupcake Wars.
Yeah, remember when someone snuck into the White House trying to get on Real Housewives of one of them? I don't remember which. Like, no, gotta go.
No. Catfish, that's another one. There's like My 1,000-Pound Sisters, whatever it is. It's like, it's just garbage, isn't it?
It's not good, but it is alluring. Everyone knows someone who watches one. Everyone probably watches one. It's not good.
Right.
Well, do you see,
Hoarders.
This is the thing. I mean, I feel not that the devil needs any advocates in 2021, but here I am to play devil's advocate a bit. People like this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's terrible.
Why? Yeah, why do you want people to not enjoy?
Yeah,
life,
I mean, if you want 10% of your brethren to not get a good education because they want to be reality TV stars.
But you don't.
Out comes the snobbery.
You don't need a good education if you've got if you've become a reality TV star. You parlay that into a career on television, I'm
not disagreeing
possibly
that you could do
possibly
that,
a career doing singing gigs or whatever the American equivalent of a Butlins is. But you know, a bunch of people have done this thing. And to be honest with you, that sounds more fun than spending your life slaving away as an accountant trying to put another penny on the dividend. Right?
What is the next step when you've been on Naked and Afraid?
Clothed and Unafraid, the follow-up show.
Full disclosure here. I don't know much about reality television because I don't know much about television because I don't watch a lot of telly. Right?
He listens to the wireless every
Well, this is the thing, right? I feel culturally out of touch here.
As War of the Worlds comes on, and he is in fact naked and afraid.
Yeah, well, the reason I bring this up is I have not heard of Naked and Afraid, but there is a thing here in the UK which is called Naked Attraction, right? Which I hadn't heard about until someone mentioned it to me a couple of days ago. And the way this works is, I don't know if this counts as reality TV. I don't think it does. It's like a game show. There used to be a thing here in the UK called Blind Date, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you'd go on and you'd be presented with people to possibly date. Naked Attraction is sort of like that. You've got you go in, there's a whole bunch of people facing you, hidden by sort of a curtain or a cylinder around them. They are naked inside this cylinder, and then they are revealed bit by bit from the feet upwards, and they keep stopping it at various points and asking, so what do you think of this person, given that all you can see is their bell end? And it's just the worst. I had no idea this program existed. You're supposed to
Never heard of it.
You pick someone at the end and date them. I don't know if this counts as reality TV or not.
I don't know. That's how Eric and I met.
Is it, by the Lord Harry?
All right. I think we need to move on because we've got a lot to get through. So what do you think, Ak? Does it go in?
Does it go in based on Jeremy's justification? I mean, it goes in anyway because it's the worst, right? But
right.
I'm inclined to say yes.
So I think it should go in because I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to get intellectual about this. But I think it objectively makes people stupider, right? Like, I don't think...
I will say, of all the three, I got the least fired up of writing this one, so I'm glad this one got in.
Right.
The other two, I was getting a little agitated.
All right. So Jeremy's got one in.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
okay.
good.
Point for Jeremy.
All right. Mr. Langridge, what have you got?
Right. So my first one is the serious one, which is that bloody Pepe outright frog thing.
The frog thing?
Yeah.
What's again?
I mean,
why?
Right. I mean, I appreciate.
Nothing we need to ask.
I was not really picking this with the intention of winning a point for getting it in, and I suspect that I have tried too hard to justify this, but I find it viscerally appalling. The thing, anyone using the damn image is doing so because they're at least partially a hateful bastard, right? They're either doing it because they think, here's an amusing joke. I'll use this thing which is representative of everything which is horrific about humanity. Or they're doing it deliberately. And
right.
The picture itself is emblematic of that sort of thought process. Someone going, oh yeah, no, I was just joking about genocide or whatever. And it seems to me to hold up, to represent that whole side of an argument where being unpleasant and making people's lives unpleasant is a thing which either brings you joy or satisfaction, and you should bloody well pack it in.
Yeah. Is it Pepe the Frog though, or is it the people who use Pepe the Frog? That's the problem?
Here's the thing. I feel quite sorry for the artist, because he had nothing to do with the way his image has been used.
He's actually been trying to get it taken down from places.
Well, he has. But he has drawn other stuff. And that's his art style. So he's drawn other stuff, and it makes me feel almost the same way, even though it's completely unrelated. It's just such a visceral hatred. So yeah, it's because of the people who do it. Not the thing itself in isolation, but it's so hard to separate the two now.
Agreed. Although I suspect you're not going to get a lot of resistance on this one. So yes, but the one thing I didn't know, and just doing quick research for this, for the show, was it was used in Hong Kong as a sign of resistance and liberty, which is so antithetical to the way that we think about it. I did not know that.
It's as I say, I mean, and Jono, to your point, it's the people who use it, but I mean, I'm sure there's now going to be a bunch of people out there, given how the universe has decided to react to my feelings about the word content or small phones or whatever, for which thanks a bunch, both of you two.
It's your own bloody fault.
Well,
on that one.
I mean, I will concede this point, but I mean, on this
I'm just
one,
trying to picture you drafting an angry email that says, "As I was looking at your content on my small phone."
But I feel like there might be people out there like, here's a funny thing, let's troll Stuart by sending the pictures, and I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to block you and never, ever, ever talk to you again if you do that. So, because that in itself, the fact that someone would think that is itself emblematic of the kind of thing that it represents. You know, I know this makes you feel uncomfortable, so I'll do it because I think that's funny.
So I have two thoughts on this.
Yeah.
One thing that makes me unsure about putting Pepe into Room 101 is that I don't think the frog is the problem. I think it's the people who use the frog as a symbol for horrible shit is the problem, right?
Well, that's how symbols work.
Yeah, I don't think reality TV is the problem. It's the people's reaction to reality TV.
Well, no, but I think reality TV is the problem because I think it's garbage in itself. Given the fact that Matt Fury created Pepe the Frog as this relatively innocent character, and then it's been taken and contorted and twisted into something that is horrible, and I want to be very clear about this. The people who use Pepe the Frog are horrible people with horrible ideas that don't move as a species forward, right? They hold us back. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not sure if that's the frog's issue. And also, there are objectively terrible, horrible, racist, misogynistic, transphobic arseholes who use Pepe the Frog. But there's also just a bunch of dipshits on 4chan, like 13-year-olds who are trying to be funny, who are using it for trolling. So I'm kind of in two minds, because on one hand, it should go in, but I'm not sure whether we're dealing with the symptom and not dealing with the disease.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, but...
I'd kind of like to put I'd like to put Pepe's forehead into Room 101.
When I first wrote this, I thought, is this really my problem? But if you'd said, what things do you want to put into Room 101? And I was being really serious about it, I'm obviously going to say, racism or abuse or something.
Yeah.
Not a cartoon.
It would not be a very fun show if we said racism, sexism.
Yeah, I mean, I deliberately, there's a whole bunch of stuff where I thought, do this, and then I thought, well, what do I actually want to put in Room 101? It either ends up being, abuse or capitalism. But at that point, we're not really bad voltage anymore if we do that. So you have to have a certain amount of of a representative dynamic here rather than the actual.
Can we put the frog in the box everywhere except for Hong Kong?
Well, yeah, I mean that.
Sounds like you're getting a half point here.
It's hard to grasp. It does. I can't believe I'm getting a half point for Pepe the Frog. I mean, God, guys.
Well, but yeah, again, like. Is it the frog? Like, Jeremy makes a good point about symbols, right? So symbols mean something for a reason.
The symbol is the thing, and I think
if you'd have said 4chan, I would have been immediately on board with that.
Equally symbolically, you're 13-year-old. You say, "Nah, this thing is gone now." Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if we're treating the symptom rather than the disease.
They'll find something else.
Of course they will, but maybe we can stay ahead of them.
Yeah, but what they may do is they may put one word that's not bolded and another word that's bolded next to it, and that could be the symbol of hate moving forward, and we can't have that.
I'm not kidding. I so nearly put that as one of my things.
I actually also legitimately almost put one bold word.
You dicks. For people who are wondering what we're talking about, I have a very simple design methodology, which is you take a non-bold word and put a bold word next to it, and I've been mocked about this for many years. It's a proven design methodology. All right, so Jeremy, what do we think? Do you think it goes in?
So I'm apt in the spirit of the last few years here in the States to put the frog in the box and to get it out of here.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think we put the frog in.
Yeah.
I think it should be the people, but given the fact you make a good point about levity in the show.
Yes.
If you just said 4chan, this would have been a 30-second conversation. So given that, let's put the frog in the box.
The goal here is not to make everyone go, well, thanks for that, guys. Now I'm just sad at the end of the show. So, right.
All right. Frog's in.
Frog's in. Jono Bacon, your first entry into Room 101 is what?
So speaking of cartoons, I want to put overly cartoony company mascots into Room 101, especially tech companies. I can't stand this trend towards cats and dogs and, cats riding unicorns and this ridiculous just move towards these overly cartoony mascots. Now, I think some mascots that aren't too cartoony are fine. I think GitHub have struck a good balance with
I was
Mona.
just going to say, I mean, your bum's in a sling at home if you go, I think the GitHub mascot's really bad.
So you're okay with Octocat. Where are you drawing the line here? I am fascinated.
But let me
hear.
give you an example just talking about GitHub, right? So the actual GitHub shadow Octocat logo thing, right? The outline of the Octocat. I think that's fine. That's no problem. But when you see the fucking Octocat dressed like an astronaut or something like that, or dressed like they've got like about 1,000 different Octocats for different situations and contexts. And I like the spirit behind it because the Octocats are really there to symbolize something, right? Which is usually very much worth symbolizing. But for me, it's like, I just think this something's overly cartoony kind of cheapens it a little bit. Was it Microsoft?
So take Reddit's little snoo alien thing, which also comes in a million billion different flavors, and the space Reddit. I'm assuming there's an r/space subreddit, and I'm assuming that its logo is a little snoo dressed like an astronaut. I don't know either of those two things, but I'm assuming it is. Is that also bad?
Well, I think it depends on the company. Like, it's really... So with Reddit is a community of lots and lots of different people from lots of different backgrounds, right? The issue I have with tech companies doing this is where, it's like if you've got some, I don't want to offend certain people on this podcast, for example. But if you've got, shall we say, a fucking dog, for example, as a mascot for a serious data analytics company,
I don't know what you're talking about. My logo is just the word cryogenics in orange. Oh wait, hang on.
But actually, Datadog, I don't really have that much of an issue with because it's not overly cartoony. It's kind of like just a broad mascot. Like it doesn't look too cutesy.
I find your lack of examples disturbing. So you said, I hate this thing, and then asked for examples. You said, Octocat, which is great. Reddit, that's not bad. And Datadog's actually pretty good. Which,
but like, name things you don't like.
You did not come with the thunder here.
Like Microsoft, for example, had the cat on the unicorn, right?
What? No, they don't. They've got 4 little coloured squares.
Yeah.
No, they have I forget which team it was. They had like a cat on a unicorn, which was one pit. I'll give you another example. This is going back a bit. Do you remember the Fedora Beefy Miracle? It's like a sausage.
That wasn't a logo though. That was just one release.
It's a mascot. Oh, just no. Negative. I think Ubuntu actually did this pretty well. You'd have an animal, but it would be a cool, like, shadow stylized kind of origami version of the animal. That's fine.
I would go far back to say selling it.
I would go far back to say the fucking paperclip at Microsoft. A stupid paperclip with eyes poking out and eyelashes that... No.
I mean, not a fan of Clippy, I agree, but...
I don't like overly cartoony mascots.
Not because it's a cartoon, because it used to just hassle me all the time about writing a letter when I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you some examples of what I think is good. Like, so Android, for example.
The Microsoft Ninja Cat here, an article from 2016.
Never heard of it.
No, I mean, this obviously seems to be a thing.
It is,
but
definitely
I'm basically unaware of this. Okay, right. So the Microsoft one. What else?
Well, I would say
nothing says it is not going in the room. Like,
so I think Twitter's good. I think TiVo is good. Right. I think Android is good.
Okay.
Right. I think Reddit is good. Okay.
Okay.
I actually think the Datadog one is fine as well. Hipmunk. Not a fan of that stupid Hipmonkey thing with the goggles and the stupid, scarf around its neck. Okay.
I feel like this is not so much a class. It's just Jono would like to put logos he doesn't like into room 101.
No, I'm telling you what the class is, right? I mean, it's...
but there's nothing that the class has in common other than the fact that you don't like them very much.
I mean, where does Tux fall on this list?
Tux is fine because it's not overly cartoony. It's simple. It's like a line drawing.
I feel like the word overly is doing a lot of work in this description.
All of the work.
Do you remember that social media network Glomper?
No.
Of course you don't. No. But their mascot.
The one you just made up.
No, Glomper. Look at Glomper.
I feel like
They're not
you
around
spent
anymore.
a week creating fake entries on Product Hunt with annoying cartoon logos just so you can go, look at all these annoying ones.
No, there was Glomper. Look, hang on. Where is it? They had this stupid...
Isn't that thing where you go on a camping holiday but you live in this palace tent?
Hang on. I'm sharing my screen. This is great on a podcast. Look at that.
Okay, right. That's obviously stupid. Yeah,
definitely don't remember that.
But I've never seen that
stupid
thing, whatever it is.
No, just for our listeners, not only is this a stupid like this, it's like a, I don't know, what is that? It's like a fat kind of white squidgy bear thing, right? But they made one the size of an office meeting room. Okay, in shock horror, San Francisco.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. That is stupid and annoying, yes. And I agree with you. But that's just like going, I don't like that thing.
No, I'm saying I've given the criteria. It's overly cartoony.
So you basically started with animals should go in the room. Well, no, dogs are good, and I like beavers, and tigers are pretty dope.
But here's the thing: that Glomper thing wasn't overly cartoony at all. It was a real item in the real world.
Yes, it just wasn't good.
Don't you start nitpicking, all right? No, when we look at the things
overly
that I like...
cartoony includes not at all cartoony, apparently, which is not what I think.
When we talk about the things that I like, right, they're simple line drawings of an animal, okay? Now, because of Garcia's attitude, I'm taking Datadog off the list, okay? And that's going into room 101.
Oh, man,
okay?
the stock price is plummeting as we speak.
All right, so I'm not feeling good about the impending vote on this one.
Yeah. Stuart, what do you think?
I have to say, I felt like if you'd made a compelling case for this, I'd have gone for it. But your case appears to be, at best, incoherent.
Is that not compelling?
It is not.
I am uncompelled also.
Yeah, I am not compelled. I got to say this is a no from me.
Concurrence.
Oh, you bastards. All right. All right. Well, okay, great. It's going great, everyone.
No. However, right. If any of you would like to make an overly cartoony picture of Jono's thing not going into room 101, that would be fine.
All right, so yeah, go and take a look at Loggly, Stupid Beaver, okay? MailChimp is okay, Reddit's okay, some of them are fine, like Hootsuite's fine,
You're just underscoring your...
Bread pig? A pig with bread stuck to the side of it like wings? You're okay with this? Okay, I'm very uncomfortable. Just so you both know, there will be ramifications with the continuation of this discussion. Okay, what's
no tactical voting from you, Bacon. Right, Jeremy, what's your second one?
All right, next up, unsurprisingly for the regular listeners of the show, will be Facebook.
Okay,
the whole thing.
Okay,
or the company.
I agree.
Or what?
I agree with you. Next category.
Yeah, But I will explain a little on why I think this.
Do please, yes.
To me, nothing underscores the Pollyannish problem that we have in tech more than Facebook. I'm a huge believer that information is the ultimate equalizer. The younger, slightly more naive, to be honest, version of me thought the internet could be a true agent for positive change. One laptop per child, a more informed populace, ready to collectively solve problems, work together, change the world. Instead, we got Facebook. Facebook. Privacy issues? Check. Addiction bordering on drug use for some? Check. Adverse effects on mental health for many? Oh yeah. Narcissism? You betcha, all with a side of harassment. Non-informing, knowledge eroding, echo chamber inside of a filter bubble wrapped in confirmation bias? Yep, they have a little of that too. All in the walled-off silo filled with fake accounts, targeted ads, and trolls. So, gotta go.
He's a fan, Ack.
He's not a fan. He is not. We knew that, though.
Not a fan. He's been bitter since Orkut didn't work out.
Oh, wow. So this is all actually quiet complaints about Wave not being the thing, isn't it?
It is,
Right.
yes.
Exactly.
Wave and Orkut.
So, I mean, obviously, from my point of view, I agree with the point. I think there's a distinction between Facebook never having existed in the first place and Facebook being dropped into room 101 now, leaving a big Facebook-shaped hole where it used to be.
We should clarify that. I think we should talk about it.
10 Facebook in the room.
I think we should be talking about things today.
Right, so we're talking
I think
about
Facebook today, getting rid of it would still be beneficial. I think while social media in general has been clearly not used in the way some of us had hoped that it might be, I think you look at Twitter, it's a little bit different because of the format. I think you look at some of the other social networks, they just don't have the vitriol and the echo chamber capability that Facebook has. I also think Facebook cares the least. Claims to care the most, but actually cares the least.
Do you have family members who talk about reality too much on Facebook? Is that the cause of all of this kind of stuff?
No, I actually don't have. My family's not really on Facebook.
So, I think what's interesting about this is Facebook is a challenging one, right? Because so many of the things you outlined, I think we're not going to disagree, right? There is the narcissism, the privacy issues. Facebook haven't, I think, been good stewards of their platform.
No.
They've been too late. There's all kinds of issues.
It's an engine designed to accentuate and form into a tornado the idea of division.
I think it incentivizes the wrong things. It incentivizes people around likes and clicks and things like that. And what gets more of that behavior? Division.
But I think outrage and privacy abuse are like the two things that enable them to make money the most. And I don't know how you fix that in a way that sustains a company anywhere near that size.
I think, I mean, we talked about Facebook a couple of shows ago. And Jono's point was, it's a really good platform for advertising, which it is, it allows you to.
Well, it was until about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, well. whole different issue.
Whole separate thing.
But
4% of Apple iOS users did opt in.
Yeah. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and target those 4. But yeah, ignoring that for the moment, I think I'd buy Jeremy's point that I think that the misery that Facebook has either created or weaponized within the universe far outweighs the benefits that it's bringing today in 2021, which is why I brought it to that point.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt, like I say, there's problems with Facebook. Although I think part of the reason why they have been so consistent and had so much growth is because they filled a gap for so many people. They filled a gap where people want to stay in touch with their friends and with their family and see what's going on in people's lives and just poke their head into something and see, baby pictures and see, what people are cooking and things like that. And I think as a general rule, people get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure and actually more connected and close with each other because of it. I mean, Facebook started becoming a real thing when I moved to the US, right? And I moved away from my family.
Possibly because
and it was
right.
Yeah, I mean, you're redefining Pollyannish problem in tech, though.
But my problem, my issue here is that, look, there are problems with everything, but I think that the key thing that Facebook has enabled, and where so many social media networks have tried and they've failed, is they've stumbled on the right balance of people being able to stay in touch with each other, and they've been able to monetize it. Now, I think privacy abuses is a bit strong. I think don't think they necessarily have abused privacy per se, but what they have done is they've created a machine where when you opt into it, they know everything about you. You become the product, right? So my worry about putting Facebook into Room 101 is, on one hand, it will solve some problems. There's no doubt about it. But I think it will take away something that so many people really get a lot of use and value out of in making them happy. It's swings and roundabouts. And I think overall on mass, it's probably generally better than what it would be.
I would like to think that something better would spring from the ashes, but you never know. I know I'm sometimes in character and bash it 100%. Like, there's obviously good that come out of what they've done, and there's some positive parts about it. But I think the cons here outweigh the negative. The cons here outweigh the pros to an extent that net it being gone would probably be better for humanity.
All right. What do you think, Mr. Langridge?
I mean, yeah, I'm with Jeremy on this. The seesaw, in my opinion, is tilted more towards negative than positive. If it went away, I think the universe would be, on balance, a better place.
You're going to have to get rid of Twitter as well. That's next.
I mean, maybe. We'll have that discussion in room 102 in the next show.
Well, and what's interesting about this, of course, is like, yeah, it's the source of the issues, right? Because the issue is people. The problem with platforms like Facebook is they've not designed them effectively enough to mitigate the issues with people, and I don't think they could have ever preempted that when it came about.
I think they've designed them to accentuate, not only not to mitigate, but to accentuate.
Do you believe that Facebook are deliberately designing Facebook to further aggressive,
yes,
controversial behavior?
Yes.
I think they're probably tapering it now. Do I think that from 2014 to 2018 they were aggressively doing that? Yeah, the algorithms prove that. I don't even know that it's up for debate.
The algorithm. No. That's not true. The algorithms prove that their algorithm was based upon engagement, right? So if you get a lot of likes or you get a lot of comments,
by optimizing engagement in the way that they did, you were optimizing for things that were inflammatory and in most cases but deceitful, with no filter for inflammatory and deceitful. So they were optimizing for bad things.
These are two different things. If you design the algorithm for engagement, so therefore you bump it up because of the number of likes and comments and reactions and things like that, that's not necessarily that they intended it to promote dissent and negative behavior. It's just that their algorithm's shit and it furthers that. That's my question. Do you believe that they intentionally designed their algorithm knowing full well it would primarily amplify negative behavior?
Yes.
Because I don't think they did.
I think they said, we're going to do the things that make people react most. And
separate question. I'm talking about negative, because people can react that they love something.
I agree.
Did they deliberately do it for negative behavior?
They're the same thing. They said, we want to do the things that make people react the most. And the things that make people react the most is negativity. Now, we've learned quite a lot in the last 10 years about that. I think anyone who says in 2008, they should have known that they were doing that, I would absolutely buy that they wouldn't have known. I don't think anybody knew that if you optimize for clicks, what you get is a hurricane of hatred, right? I don't think anyone knew that in 2006, 2007, 2008. I certainly do think they knew it in 2014 and 2015, and they kept doing it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So I think it goes in.
I don't think it goes in. I think it's net got a positive. I think it's got major problems
okay.
that they need to fix, but I don't think.
What do we think?
So it's kind of.
Is that half a point?
I was going to say we did not design this well, and that 2 people vote.
Yeah. Is that half a point?
I think it. I don't know. I think maybe we'll just say that if it doesn't go fully in, then it doesn't count.
Oh boy, you gotta.
The rules apply to all of us.
Boy, oh boy! So it's got to be unanimous for it to go into room 101. I think it's got to
be. I agree. It's got to be unanimous.
Okay.
Either that, or we let the bad voltage community decide somehow.
Oh,
let's do that. That's a great idea, Jeremy.
Yeah. Apparently,
so yeah,
Jeremy, you and me.
So now we won't know the winner until after the show is posted.
We won't.
Ooh,
there we go.
So us being a supermajority is not enough. We have to ask for the will of the people.
All right, so we have one open so far.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Mr. Langridge, what have you got next?
Hang on, I'm just making a note. So
we're gonna have to speed this up because we're.
Yes. We are okay. So, so then I should be quick. The next one I would like to put into room 101 is peppers, the fruit or vegetable, whatever the hell they are.
You're talking about the delicious
peppers.
Nah, because they're horrible.
This won't be long.
I hate them. They're just the worst, and they're
why?
Do you mean why? They don't taste very nice. I didn't.
Is it taste? Is it texture? Is it smell? Is it look?
I didn't sit down and choose this. I just don't like them. It's actually a lot of the above. I don't like the texture of them. I don't like the taste of them. I don't like the smell of them either. And I don't like the fact that they're in bloody everything. People put peppers in loads of stuff, and I wish they wouldn't.
So are you talking a specific kind of peppers, hot peppers, bell peppers?
No, I just don't like any of them.
It's difficult for me to articulate how not on board I am with this.
Yeah, but that's not the point here. It's not just like, oh, but I do like peppers, so that's okay.
I mean, high in fiber, a ton of vitamin C, anti-diabetes, delicious.
Weetabix or something. Just, oh man, I hate them. But that's the thing. It's not just that I don't like them. Otherwise, it would be like Jono's logos that he doesn't like for no reason. It's that people keep sneaking peppers into stuff. It's surprisingly
because
hard.
They're both nutritious and delicious.
I don't like them. But I don't get.
I only eat RG Charapita peppers, which are $25,000 a kilogram. So you should try those.
Is there a $25,000 per kilogram pepper?
I just typed in most expensive pepper ever into Google, and Google delivered.
I have not had this pepper.
I suspect you will do at some point in the next 6 months.
Is that because it's £25,000 a kilo, perchance?
All of those data Doge coins are coming in and paying for us.
No, I mean, this is one of those things where I have a certain amount of sympathy with people who have celiac disease or whatever and can't eat gluten. And then they find that gluten turns out to be in loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. And you're like, well, why has this thing got wheat flour in it? It doesn't need it in there, and it means that I can't eat it, and that's really unfair. Peppers are like that. People just put them in stuff loads. And I wish they
I'm thinking of banana peppers, jalapenos, serrano, bell, shishitos, habaneros. There are so many good kinds of peppers.
Yeah, they're all great. That's the thing. They're all
the more
great.
I think about it, the less on board I am with this.
This is starting to anger me at this point. If you'd have said mushrooms, that would have been fine, because people sneak mushrooms into fucking everything.
And now, I mean, I concede I would probably feel the same about mushrooms if I didn't like mushrooms, but I think mushrooms are delicious. Well, there are loads of different kinds of mushrooms. I like them all. That's all great. No problem with mushrooms. But they're the same. People just put them in stuff. So if you don't like mushrooms, you're like, oh, there's bloody mushrooms in this. Again, why?
Also, to be fair as well, Jeremy, you saying I like those as well means nothing. You ate insects at a Bad Voltage live show one time,
did.
Okay? You will eat anything if it's there. You'll eat a child if it was there and it had a Michelin star stamped on its ass, okay? So...
Jose Andres, if you're listening to the show...
This cannot go in.
No.
He's out of his mind.
I feel like you haven't even listened to the argument. You just gone, but I like peppers, so it's not going into
really. my throaty case for cartoony mascots was not listened to. Okay,
so their deliciousness aside, you did not like. They're not bad for the environment, like some foods that are also delicious. They're very healthy for you. They're they're a win.
I feel like Nazy, but I feel like the major reason people put them in stuff is not because they're delicious. It's because they're colourful. If all peppers were dark green, they wouldn't show up in anywhere near as much stuff. People put them in because it makes food look interesting. Yeah,
you can use food colouring,
or they put food colouring in. Yeah, but they don't. But that's the point. Peppers only go in because they put colour in a thing, not because they're actually nice.
No, I love how Jeremy chose Facebook. You chose peppers. It's amazing.
My last one is also a food item, and it is terrible.
I'm looking forward to it,
but it's food.
All right, so I say big thumbs down on this one, Jeremy. What do you think?
Absolutely.
No, not going in.
You people are hate.
All right.
Okay.
All right. My number 2. That's not going into Room 101. Little toilet humor there for everybody. Yeah, I actually wrote this down as new features. So I don't dislike new features as a concept. But what I cannot stand is new features that slow down devices because they prioritize new features over the operational modality of a device. And I'm going to give you an example here. The Peloton bike. Okay.
Okay. I was assuming this was going to be a bunch of pro-Apple whining, but
no,
it can't. But if you're coming out against a Peloton, then don't you get kicked out of California for doing that sort of thing?
Possibly. My yogurt license is going to be revoked. So, we bought the Peloton years ago. Not that long ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I think it was that long ago.
And it's an exercise bike, right? With an Android tablet glued on the front of it. And it now takes 10, 12 minutes to boot up when you turn it on. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we haven't done anything special we've not screwed around with it. And they've added loads of cool new features into it for classes and what you track and all, integration with devices and things like that. I don't care. I want to turn it on and it to work. And Peloton have basically made a decision. We prioritize delivering all this new stuff over the speed and the performance of the device. And we see that in many, many, many situations, right? We always talk about how... I'm not talking about batteries. We know battery life naturally degrades. That's hardware. Talking about systems, software.
This is plausible. I mean... I feel I ought to point out that the car you have is a Morris Marina with an Android tablet bolted on the front of it.
I'm trying to decide what you want to put in the box here. Like, product people have opinions, engineering people have decisions. Yeah. Someone has to make those decisions. A couple didn't go your way.
Actually, yeah. I didn't really think that's a good point. I think we should put the people who make these decisions into the box, like just the whole demographic.
Okay.
I mean, is it the people that make the decisions, or is it the system that creates those decisions by promoting folks through the exciting new features they ship, and not that thing boots up faster, didn't get you promoted?
But we can't go too systemic on this because
that's what I'm just curious what you're trying to put in the box.
Thing number one you put in the box is capitalism, because everything reduces to it eventually. Right? Can't do that.
I vehemently disagree with that, but that's a separate show.
Yeah, I also vehemently disagree with that. Ak just doesn't like spreadsheets. That's the whole capitalism thing. Is he's never liked Excel.
So, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think the issue that I have is at some point in the Peloton, using them as an example, and it's not just Peloton, at some point, somebody needs to deploy a new firmware update to their first generation bike, switch it on, and count how long it takes to boot. And at some point, somebody needs to say, this is a problem.
Well,
right?
Here is the thing. I have 2 thoughts about this, actually. The first one is, I don't know if there's a way of fixing this, but what I'd like is when you get a product right, you're somehow allowed to stop at that point. Like the iPhone 5S, right? Or the Peloton version 2 or whatever. But the problem is that if you do that and you go, right, I've got it right now, then everyone's bought one and then you never sell anymore. So you've got to keep inventing stuff.
Well, not only that, but someone else makes ones that's just as good but slightly cheaper. Like, that's not a way to stay in business.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. This is the thing. But the problem is precisely that you build a really great thing and then you don't know what to do after, so you just keep tacking stuff on the side of it. It's like every now and again I'll see those bills in the US House of Commons, House of Representatives, Congress, right, where someone goes, okay, so we've got this bill to do this thing, and there's a million other things which are nothing to do with it, all piled in the
stuffed in there.
Yeah. And
that's a good analogy.
This features thing feels to me like that. Where someone goes, well, we did stay on top of the market, so we'll just like chuck more stuff in because everything's feature driven. But is it being feature driven that goes in?
So I don't have a Peloton. Does it do materially more things than when you bought it?
Oh yeah, it does way more. Yeah, it really does. I don't use any of those things.
So it allows you to bike, and what else?
I can say, what else can it do?
There's like I'm not a good person to ask about this because I don't use any of those features. But what I do know is that almost every week it pops up a new dialogue, basically saying we've added this new thing into it. They're constantly iterating on it, right? So you do feel like your product is growing. But the other side of the coin here, for example, is the Axe effects, which I know I've talked about previously in the show. They were providing firmware updates to the Axe effects 2 for like 8 or 10 years, and it never slowed down ever.
Yeah.
It never slowed down because I think they cared about this. So that to me is the thing.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Are you okay with piling in loads of new features if you like them?
I've got nothing against new features per se, but you've got to ultimately, performance has to be part of the feature set. You can't say, okay, they'll just put up with that because they're getting, some shiny new bell. That's my issue. And some companies are better than others, right? Like some companies, like Peloton, from my experience, have been pretty bad.
Aren't they saying they'll put up with that because, lol, they have no choice but to put up with that? You can't opt out, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You've already bought it.
And I'm sure that Peloton are like, well, maybe you should buy the new bike.
Well, this is the thing. And I'm assuming that if you say, right, I hate this so much, I'm going to stop paying the subscription or whatever, then I don't know, the pedals stop working or something.
Yeah, exactly. Falls off. Don't even joke about that. Someone just listened to that comment and they're like, that's an interesting business.
You didn't realize SaaS stood for seat as a service and the seat disappears when you stop paying?
Exactly. You stop paying and the seat sort of folds up into a spike until you start paying again.
Exactly. So what do you think? Does it go in?
So I agree that I don't like products becoming less good, but I still don't understand what's getting put in the room.
Yeah, this needs better articulation, I think. You've got the nub of something good here, I think, but I don't know what it is we're actually putting into Room 101.
Maybe it's QA. Maybe it's the QA piece. The QA people who finally, they should do this.
Look. That, my friend, is harsh. Every QA person out there in the universe is going, yeah, we said this was rubbish and they overrode us and did it anyway.
That's a good point. Well, that's like saying, yeah, but we put Facebook in, right? Or we were going to put Facebook in. There's a lot of people there as well. The office manager shouldn't be going into Room 101.
Well,
anyway,
tough luck to that guy.
So what do you think? Yay or nay? Make a decision, because we got 3 more to go.
I feel like I'm inclined towards a no.
Yeah, I just...
It feels like a no. Sorry, man.
You're assholes. I'm going to put you 2 into Room 101. Can I change my third one?
No, that is literally what your third thing is.
I want to put this episode into Room 101.
So what's that? Bring it back to me?
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's you. Third one. We got to do these quick.
Unlike peppers, I'm going to pick a food item that is truly horrific, and it is Peeps.
Well,
explain what that is, because I think a lot of people are not going to have heard of this.
Honestly, I saw this in the list, and I thought you meant like the humorous abbreviation for people. Like every now and again, I'll write an email. It'll say like,
I mean, some
hey,
of my
Peeps,
peeps clearly are eating Peeps, and we need to have a conversation about this.
Oh my god! If I've written "Hey Peeps" at the top of an email, have I really, really annoyed Jeremy by doing this? Like every time for the last 10 years or whatever. But no, what the hell is a
So
peep?
they are this little marshmallow candy that started off many years ago as an Easter candy and have now morphed into a terrible, terrible crime.
It's a sweet. Hang on.
It's a sweet, yes.
It's basically a chunk. It's just like a marshmallow rabbit, basically.
While you're Googling
I'm
an image of a
I'm going to
peep,
go and look at a picture of this. I didn't want to look it up beforehand because I didn't know what it was meant to be.
I'll go through why I think they're terrible.
Okay.
So I'll start off with hashtag hanging with my peeps, which is absolutely a real thing that they did. Pepsi flavored peeps, peep lattes at 7-Eleven now, Halloween and Christmas peeps because Easter wasn't enough, hot tamale peeps.
Hang on. You skirted over this. A peep latte is the most 7-Eleven thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely not. They even have peep coffee creamer now. And realistically, what can I say about Peeps that John Oliver hasn't already said? But the thing here is, and I don't understand this, Americans buy more than 700 million Peeps every year. Peeps are the Nickelback of food. Everyone I know claims to hate them, yet they just keep selling. That's a whole bunch of my peeps shame-eating peeps on the DL, and I just don't understand it. So I'm not sure out there who had the culinary genius to take a marshmallow, remove the flavor, and replace it with more sugar, but it just didn't come out well. Somehow, even despite it being a marshmallow, you can't even toast a peep, and that's basically Marshmallow 101. Peeps, somehow simultaneously tasteless and too sweet. I'd say don't try them, but clearly by the 700 million in sales, some of you will. Therefore, they got to go in the room.
I'm just looking at pictures of these extremely bright-coloured marshmallow duck sweets. Jono, since you've had these things but grew up here, you know those foam banana sweets?
Oh yeah.
Are they like them?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
What are they like? I having never eaten one of these, I mean, they are extremely virulently coloured and awful, but
yes.
What makes them worse than, I don't know, circus peanuts?
So, to be very clear, I ate a peep once, 12 years ago, and I didn't know what a peep was, and it was on Halloween or whatever it was. I ate it once, and I vowed to never eat it ever again.
Yes.
It was, Jeremy described it correctly. It is a marshmallow with the flavor removed and a lot more sugar added to it. They're horrible. And
they're not good.
But if there's two things that Americans like, guns and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. So I was debating between this deep fried Twinkies and Crocs, and then as I was just looking around, they make Peep Crocs. They did an actual collaboration that is completely a real thing.
The shoes?
Yes.
Crocs?
There's a Peep Croc.
I am both surprised and unsurprised at the same time. Because I just... Anyway.
Well, it says here, Pepsi and Peeps have joined forces.
Yeah, Pepsi flavored Peeps was in there.
To create marshmallow soda.
Yeah.
Guaranteed to be this spring's most polarizing beverage.
So clearly when this goes in the room, because they are, just like I said, a crime, we'll take them out of the room for one day. The next Bad Voltage Live, I will bring a huge amount of Peeps and we can throw them into the crowd.
There's a TV show in England called 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown. And there's a guy on that show called Sean Locke, who is a hilarious stand-up comedian. And actually... tiny bit of trivia before I get onto this fact, was the compere for the Linux User and Developer Awards before he made it big. And he was hilarious. I actually got drunk with him one night at that award ceremony. Anyway, he, on an episode of 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown, was dared to eat a whole load of whelks, like a whole tub of whelks. And it was hilarious watching it. And I think at the next Bad Voltage Live, we make Jeremy eat 2 packs of Peeps and see what happens. Maybe for charity.
Presumably all his teeth fall right out of his head.
I mean, it would have to be for charity because other than that, there will be no Peeps.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll eat a pack of Peeps if Ack eats a bell pepper like an apple.
Man, I hate peppers.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, but
Brilliant.
I actually hate peppers.
I'm not picking up that Jeremy particularly likes Peeps by this conversation.
Yeah, I will give you this point. Well, I mean, I'm sold by the explanation. I have never had these things, and to be clear, I never want to have these things either.
You don't.
Based on that description. So I'm prepared to go for that. Jono?
Logically,
You've
I
eaten
think you're
this
right.
thing.
And once, logically, I think you're right. And it should go in. Emotionally, I'm really quite pissed off with both of you for for the votes of mine.
Wow.
So I'm tempted to be a bit of a kid about. No, it should go in. Obviously, it's got to go in. It's horrible. Okay, so yeah.
Right, Peeps are in. There it is.
Yeah, down with the Peeps.
That should be their next slogan. That'd be so good.
Maybe it should be the show title. Anyway,
I am literally making a note of it as the show title.
All right. So you're up, Mr. Langridge. What's your last one?
Oh, right. Yeah. My last one, which should be a quick one, I think, but it's websites and apps and things like that demanding my phone number rather than just an email address. I'm assuming this is because they all got wise to the fact that I would fill in a bunch of lies as my email address, or
Right.
The name of your company at cryogenics.org, so I could then immediately black hole it when you try to send me spam until the end of time. But I've only got one phone number, and and I can't make it go away. And an awful lot of things now go, oh yeah, but we need to assure that there's only one account being done. But it's like, so you can send me spam SMSs forever and ever and ever, and I can't stop you. And it's extremely infuriating, and I want them to stop.
Aside from Signal, what is requiring your phone number?
I bought a beer sitting outside the pub here in the UK, and they had a thing where you could order from the table. And I've now done that twice here in different pubs. One of them made me install their app to do it, which meant I had to install their app and then give them my phone number in order to sign up. And then the second one didn't require me to do an app; it did it on the web. But I still needed to sign up. I needed to give them an email address and a phone number to do it.
To pay for your beer?
Yeah, I had to give them my card details and everything as well. But I had to sign up for an account first.
But was it the credit card company requiring a phone number so they could do?
No, not at all. No, it isn't. They do not need my phone number. Every shop I go into lets me pay without giving my phone number. Amazon don't know my phone number. And I buy stuff off of them. Yeah, they do not need my phone number in order to make a card purchase. And they ask for it anyway because I can't change it.
So you want to banish the websites?
I want to banish. I want to banish
the phone number requirement.
I want to banish the phone number requirement. If that means everyone who decides to demand my phone number goes into Room 101, I'm okay with that collateral damage. But
I don't think I've experienced this, but it is dumb.
It's really annoying because you can't get out from under it.
I mean, I'll put that up there with I never understood why if a company's shipping you something, they only ask for your address once, but every site asks for your email address twice, which seems less impactful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
That seems not good.
It's a simple
I'm
one.
now curious the genesis of why they're asking for it, because they don't then send you an SMS, do they?
They have not done so far. So then, what did they need it for? And this is exactly my point. I mean, fine, I will buy Signal, say, needing it. Fine, no problem with that. Right, but this is so I can buy beer outside a pub. Do not need my phone number. What was more annoying was the first one. So here in the UK, in the US, you've got 555 numbers, right? Which aren't real.
Yep.
But you can dial them anyway. The UK have numbers for TV and film as well. But they're not as commonly known because it's not as obvious as just putting 555. They've got different, a block of numbers in each city is allocated to TV and films. So you can use one of those numbers when someone asks for your phone number, and then it won't work and it'll just ring forever and ever and ever, which I'm fine with. But the second one went, no, you have to enter a valid phone number. I'm like, oh, you bastards.
I just don't like the idea of like, it's like, it reminds me of when I've been into shops over here, you know, and I'm buying, you know, a pen. And they're like, oh, what's your phone number? It's like
none of your
business.
Yeah.
That's what my phone number is.
None.
I'm going to sign up for your spam. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, what can they possibly need it for other than to spam you?
It's marketing, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, I mean, and for some things I wouldn't mind. Like if I actually, there's some people I want them to send the marketing stuff to, like Waves, who make audio plugins, because I like their stuff. I want to see it. But for, you know, 7-Eleven.
But this is the thing.
No.
It's becoming normalized that people ask for this sort of thing. And it really, really, really aggravates me.
Yep. So, what do you think, Jeremy?
I'll buy it.
I think it goes in. Again, I'm a bit resentful about supporting you, but it just shows how I'm a bigger person, by the way.
Okay.
Let this be the outcome of this episode, is how I'm willing to put myself in front of my ego.
Okay, well, let's see what the third one is and how it goes down.
All right, I hate cats. So...
Okay. Jeremy, I agree. I think we should put Jono into room 101. What do you reckon?
So the genesis of this, maybe I should put Genesis into room 101 just to annoy Tara.
What that's harsh.
Well, I think in about 5 years I won't need to think about putting them into room 101. So
wow. She's going to be really sad at that comment, man.
No
I was going to make a
chickens.
one jacket required joke, but
yeah, they're doing the last tour. Anyway, so the genesis of this is that I cannot stand the internet's obsession with cats. Right? People seem to think that cats are just universally hilarious. And that everyone's obsessed with animated GIFs and pictures on Facebook and social media networks of cats. There's this thing about cats, like cat videos on YouTube, cats. And I originally put into the document here the internet's obsession with cats, but I appreciate that that's not something that's tangible. So I was thinking, okay, how do I make something more tangible? So I think just removing cats as a general whole entity is the right way forward.
Oh, man. You see, you were good right up until the end there.
Wow.
No, let me explain why. So
the hate mail that is going to come in for Jonathan Edward James Bacon III is going to be high.
Thanks for sharing the legal name, by the way.
The thing which I think is interesting about this is he's going to come up with a bunch of pseudo intellectual justification for this, and what it is he likes dogs, and that's it.
That is it. I'm not even going to try I don't think there is a intellectual justification for removing a whole class of animals from the planet.
I mean, I am also personally team dog, but I don't have anything
let me
against
tell you
cats.
what I don't like about cats, and we might be here for a while, right? They're an arrogant, snooty animal, okay? Right? They are. Like, dogs are, we all know that dogs are stupid, but dogs are loyal, right? We've got a dog, Biscuit the dog, right? And Biscuit is constantly wanting to lap dog, sit on us, cuddle. If I'm playing around with Jack and Biscuit feels like I'm being threatened by Jack or vice versa, he'll step in and try and protect. They're just good all-round animals, okay? You don't get any of that from a cat, right? Cats, they're just kind of like, they're squatters in your house. That's what they do. They don't pay any rent, and they just hang out, and you feed them, and then they fuck right off, right? The only value of cats is that they maybe remove rats. Who has got all of these rats? Nobody's got rats that they need to be taken care of. I mean, if you need that, go and get a pest company to come in.
I'm now curious what Biscuit pays in rent.
Oh, yeah.
He provides love. He doesn't need to pay any rent, okay? But I just don't understand this obsession with cats. Now everybody then says, well, my cat's different. No, your cat isn't different. You've just got into this what is that terminology when people fall in love with their captors?
Stockholm syndrome?
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, people have got that with cats. You think that cats are actually way better than they are? It's because you've not been around enough dogs.
No,
right?
it's because
This is where Garfield syndrome was born. Excellent.
you're looking for the wrong things out of a cat. You're not supposed to get a cat because you want it to do all the things that dogs do, like shit on your sofa all the time. And
dogs don't shit on. You've got how
many times has Biscuit shat inside the house?
Well, when he was a puppy, a couple of times, but you toilet train them.
Oh, really?
Oh, you want to talk? You want to talk about shitting in a house? You know what does Biscuit do? He goes out onto the lawn, drops a dog egg, and then comes back in, right? And then we make Jack go pick it up. Okay. What does a cat do? No, the cat says, "I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go outside of the house. No, I'm going to have a special tray that you're going to need to put some weird stuff into, and I'll take a shit inside of the house in the special shit tray. That's what I'm going to do."
That's your thing? You're resentful about the fact that a cat needs a tray full of gravel.
It's one of the things. One of the things is that, and they've just got this attitude about them. They just decide, I'm a cat. You will dance to my tune. That's how it's going to work.
I don't understand why this is a problem.
I don't respect that.
Dogs
if a human being did that, if a human being did that, they'd be like, that person's arrogant.
I will completely buy the internet's obsession with cats being extremely annoying. Although I very, very, very nearly also had on my list. I wouldn't believe how long my list was. I had to narrow it down to 3. I'm like, oh no, I need to think about this. And I thought of like 15 things without even trying hard. But one of them was people who say doggo and puppa.
Oh.
That's so annoying, my God. But yeah, that
fur baby.
Just shut up, God. But yes, the internet's obsession with cats is really annoying. But cats themselves, nah, they're fine, dude.
To be fair, I have met a couple of cool cats, but that's just because they were more like dogs. They had like some kind of identity crisis, and they thought they were dogs. Like dogs, what do you want in a pet? You want a companion, right? You want someone who's going to live in your house and give you lots of love, and you give them lots of love, and there's a give and a take to it, and I just don't see enough of that with cats. So I fully appreciate that this is an unpopular opinion with cats.
Well, I mean, what I'm inclined to do for this, Jeremy, I reckon we should leave this one open to votes.
No. Come on.
I think
I'm on board with that.
I think you'll find a whole bunch of equally deluded people who think cats should go away and dogs are fine. Presumably because they like having to go out for a walk in the rain carrying a bag to pick up shit in.
Of all the topics that I thought would create vitriol, this was not on the list. But sure, let's open it up.
I think, I think we should open it up.
Brilliant. That's just
so what we have. We have 2 open to vote on.
Yeah,
Facebook and cats.
So well, I mean,
the victor, like no one won because it's open.
Yeah. So at this point, Jeremy's got 2 in and 1 for public discussion. I've got 2 in and that's it. And Jono's got none in and 1 for public discussion. So that seems fine to me.
Nothing like Facebook standing between myself and victory.
I'll be
it does seem apt.
I'll be honest with you. We're in a position where we're going to the Bad Voltage audience and saying, are you on board with disliking Facebook? I think you're okay. Are you on board with disliking cats? Maybe not so much.
I'm genuinely curious on the second one.
I'm not anticipating victory here.
Hey, I could do a Twitter poll.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
You throw me to the wolves.
That's literally what I'm doing. I'm going to go and buy a bus.
That is what he had in mind.
I'm going to go and buy a bus so I could throw you under. It'd be like the beginning of The Dark Knight.
Thank you. Go get the NHS bus.
I think 350 million people think Jono is wrong, and then I'll just drive it repeatedly over your body. Right, yeah, remind me.
He's already dead.
People listening to this show, if I've forgotten to do a Twitter poll which explicitly says Jono doesn't like cats, is he right about that? At Bad Voltage. Remind me, and I'll do that.
We could put a poll up in Slack as well.
Oh, yeah, we could do that, yes. That's what we should do, really.
Well, this is going great.
If the goal is to actually get an answer rather than just humiliate Jono in the eyes of the public.
I was going to say, yeah, let's... I really wish I'd put you to it. I'm actually kind of surprised that none of us selected each other.
No, but...
I'm surprised that...
What I thought was interesting is that we all said that we should put Marius into room 101.
We did not say that. We did not say that because Marius edits the show. And thank you again, Marius from NerdZoom Media.
Thanks again
for amazing thing. Actually, no, it was Jeremy. Do you remember? Jeremy said that you should go into room 101. It wasn't us. That's who it was. It was Jeremy.
No, that's not kind. But yes, thank you, Marius at NerdZoom Media for editing the show. We appreciate it. I'm assuming this whole bit is just going to be like beep.
Yes. So, alrighty. Well, this has been a long one. But I think it's been fun. I love doing shows like this. So thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah,
go
if you've
and
made
vote.
it to this point, thank you for listening.
Yeah, seriously.
And
go and vote.
Go vote on Facebook into Room 101 and Cats into Room 101. And what should we have had on our lists?
Yes.
What did we miss?
Yeah. What do you find annoying? And look, most of us are grown-ups, okay? So I know I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it as the teacher. When you choose your things for Room 101, you can't pick horrible things, okay? You can't pick groups of people, okay?
Yes.
Keep it light, everyone. Don't be mean. Okay?
Good call. Absolutely.
Unless it's about cats, of course.
Well,
then let's do it.
I feel like we're going to get a bunch of people going bad voltage doing shows like this into Room 101.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Alrighty. I think we're done. Bye, everyone.